Hey guys, thank you so much for joining me today. I will be starting by just taking my little primer. It's like this little cute primer from Pretty Fresh. It's the Hyaluronic Hydrating Primer. I'm using a primer for me, especially because I have like oily and dry skin at the same time. It's just important to tie the whole look in. Then I'm also taking some setting spray from the same brand and the same line. Just going to like mist that on. So taking the time to do your eyes, to do your eyebrows, to do your lips first before you put any other products on will make sure that your face has time to depuff, and therefore you're going to use less product at the end. So right now I'm using the lippy pencil in the shade Petal Please. It's like this from the, I think, Sandstone collection. I hope you guys can see that. It is just a nudish shade with some like reds in it. This part right here and this part up here, those are the two only things I really overline. Like this amount, and I will just blend it down. And because I have the lip plumper on, like it blends the liner seamlessly. I'm just going to do the bottom again. I'm just going to move on, and I will be using the lippy stick in the shade Sweet Stuff. It's like this kind of purpley shade. I'm just going to hold it right here then. But again, yeah, I'm just dabbing it in the middle. If anybody of you would like to try out something or like some fun color and you're not sure about it and you don't know if you really can work it, and for example wear something this purpley, just do a nude lip first. Put it in the middle, blend it out, and you'll see you're going to get accustomed to the color, and it's going to be much easier. Because if I were to just go in with this and don't do the full like lip liner routine, then it might look weird or off-putting depending on my skin color. We are doing our eyes next, and that means I'm going to be starting with a primer. My eyelids are super oily, so once I apply concealer or something, some like thicker layer of a product, then that's just going to mean that it's going to crease and it's going to break down, and I will be feeling it throughout the day. I really wanted to play with this neutral palette. It has some pops of color, but the shades are so nice, so nice. I love anything that has shimmers in it. But then also Colourpop launched this little palette. So do you see this shade right here, or like these shades? I think especially this pop of color we can really make work. So I will be talking about both palettes, but again, you know, one is the Sandstone palette and one is the Neon Gaze palette. Today I can really show you how I like work with my hooded eyes, and that is kind of what we are going to do next. I'm just going to be taking the shade and just like fully loading up my brush, and I'm going to be applying that to the back of my hand where I already have my brow thing, and like that, you know. And I can take some setting spray right then and there and just spray my hand like that. I'm just making basically a liner, and the reason why I'm doing it with like a eyeshadow is because once it actually dries down, it will be blendable again. Like once it dries down, it's actually a shadow again, which means that you can apply this and you can just wait a couple seconds and then you can start blending it out, and that's really the best part. But I'm just putting a point right there. I'm going to start pulling it out, and just having my eyes open while I do it really helps because I can just connect it to my lash line like that. But then if I close my eyes, you can see there are some parts missing because that is of course my hooded eye fold. So that's not a problem, but I can just go in again, and I will always, you know, re-wet the shade, and I'm blending this out just ever so slightly because I like the idea of having a very diffused eye look. And as you can see, this blends out quite nicely. I'm trying to keep the top like a little sharper just because that is where we are going to add the pop of color later. And what I do is basically go under my lash line, so I'm not doing it on my waterline, I'm doing it on my lash line, and I will be just making a line like that and moving that line out, for example like that. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to follow my natural crease line. I'm just mapping out the highest points, and then I will just be taking that shade down, and that was like a little too much, that's fine. and I will just fling it out like that. And you see that it's a little bit too much. Don't worry about it, let it dry. We have some Q-tips there, so don't worry about that. And then I will just be adding in more and connecting it to the bottom like that. And I'm just trying to just clean this up. And the best part about like using an eyeshadow is that the cleanup is minimal. So I'm just going to take bits of this product, and this is kind of the thing, like I won't really be using setting spray for this kind of shade just because this is a blending shade. So all my blending shades will be still dry, and I will just be blending this bottom shade as well. And this time I will be taking the darkest shade, so again this one right here. So we already put the liner down, but now we want to blend in the two shades. So I'm just applying it to the really crease, and I have to concentrate to get this right. But we're actually going to put something on there, and for that I'm using this Sandstone palette, and I'm sorry, I have to use another palette. I know. So this shade right here, it is technically a matte shade. It has some shimmer in it, and it's super buttery and super soft. I will wet this product because this is a great shade to really show how you can take a lighter shade and you can make this more pigmented if you actually use some setting spray. I will be taking this product and just starting out. Again, no concealer, nothing underneath. I don't think you can see it on camera, but in person it has this like subtle shimmer in it, and it's not too shimmery. This is not supposed to be a super shimmery look. This is technically a matte look. Just for finishing this eye up, I want to do this pop of color. And what I like to do is actually take a cream gel liner as a base, basically, because my skin of course isn't like white like the sheet of paper, so the shade right here in the pan is not going to look like this if I don't do something to make my skin look a little like brighter in that area. So what I like to do is use this pencil, and I really enjoy these cream gel liners. I think this is the shade Extra Frosting, and it's this like yellowy buttery sort of shade, and it's really creamy. So I will be taking this right here, and I will be doing the whole setting spray method again because I like to do this and setting spray on top. If I apply it just like this, then it's going to of course mix with my skin, and my skin, it works great, but my skin is darker, so that means that it won't be as pigmented to see. Then I can start applying this. This is what it looks like without anything else. Just to set it, I'm just going to take a brush like this, and I will just be applying it on top of the shade, just to set it and to make it even brighter. And what I also like to do, the shade right here, Big Bend, I will be taking that on a small brush, and I will be putting it right here on my actual waterline. And we're going to go in and actually make a little liner for the inner corners. I'm trying to put it right here, so on this part, because if you put it actually here, it's going to make your eyes a little wider. So you can apply a little bit of like a darker shade right here. And I will be taking the Anastasia Beverly Hills Lash Brag Mascara. You can just apply this in seconds, and I am just, for the sake of time, just doing one coat. So as you can see, I still have no base, there's nothing going on. I still just have my eyes and my lips done, but as you can see, it already looks like I have on a lot more makeup, right? And now we can start with the complexion. I have like a darker skin color, which means that all my discoloration will be like a darker brown shade than my skin tone, of course, and it will be like kind of colder in a tone. And to really balance that out, I'm using a peachy shade like this. I'm taking this little peachy shade and I will be applying it right here, right into the folds. Now doing it on this line here and just blending it out with my fingers, and on this here and on this as well. And I'm going to be using this like little green shade, and it's going to look a little green, but that's okay. Again, it's color correcting, and as long as it's just a small bit, then it's nothing to worry about. Contour next, and the reason why I'm doing contour next is because doing the thing that scares you most first will help, just to ensure that you can always put something on top, right? So I will be using these like foundation sticks, and these shades are the dark 165N and deep dark 190C. So you can use any foundation shade that is just slightly darker than your skin, and I like to use that just because it is something that will give you more coverage in these areas. If I didn't have anything going on here, I would use something with less coverage. I will be applying the shade right here. So that is, again, we felt that area, and then we have this area right here, and we felt that as well. And I want to enhance my cheek, so what I like to do is actually go up like that. And then again, this part is a little bit more spotted. I have some discoloration right there, so I like to go in here. So I'm not going to this part, and I'm not going to this part. I'm just going in here, and then I'll be taking this product, and we'll be doing this, and you can really see where your cheek would technically end. So right there, like the 3 is okay, but it's not something I would recommend to anybody that is trying to personalize their contour. And now I'm taking the lighter shade because I want to take something a little bit lighter, and I will be taking again, like I have my cheekbone right here, and I know that my cheekbone ends right here, so I will be putting a bit of product on these two ends. Basically, I'm just like blending this up and down, so I'm trying not to create too many harsh lines, and then I'm blending this part that we put down, I'm blending this down, and I will be blending this part up. So this up, like so, and this part down. And again, it looks crazy because we haven't done anything else. We haven't done our like foundation. We haven't done any of the other steps. And I want you to really do this step first, because you can really look crazy here, and it's going to be fine, because at the end of the day, you still have like your concealer and your like foundation to put on. And now we're actually going to use a concealer next. And again, I'm applying it like just a tiny bit here and here. Those were the areas we, color corrected, remember? Since I have this line going here, I like to make this part a little lighter on both sides. And again, these areas right here, we already, color corrected here. And I'll be using a little bit on here, and yeah, I'm just blending it out. We're going to go into our blush next. I'm just going into this like Super Shock blush. It's the Paralyzed Volle shade, Volle, I think. Anyways, it's this gorgeous shade, and it's like metallized or pearlized in a way, and I'm using a fluffy brush, and I'm blending it into my cheek area right here. I really have to do my nose contour now because I completely missed it, and so you guys have to just watch me speed run this, just using tiny bits of product on this side and then on the bottom like this, and to blend everything. And I'm doing this quite fast, but it's just an up and down motion, just an up and down motion like this. So yes, we are at the foundation step at this point, and again, I will be using the Pretty Fresh Hydrating Foundation in the shade Medium Dark 135W. Ooh, there's a lot coming out. I apply to the back of my hand, and I will be taking some of the product, just going in slightly. And it's a very hydrating foundation, and it doesn't have that much coverage, but that's actually something I really enjoy. So I'm applying just a tiny bit around this area, and some to even out my forehead, just ever so slightly. And as you can see right now, this is kind of the coverage I'm left with, which means at some point we have to set everything, and that is kind of where my little trick comes in. And this is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Contour Kit shade. I like to set my contour with powder contour. So what I like to do is I take a fluffy brush like this, and you can apply to the eyeshadow like so, and then I like to place it and really like do fine lines. And for this powder, I'm not doing the whole blending it out method, because this, as you can see right now, this is not orange. This is actually very, very cold. This is something that will make a shadow, if that makes sense. So I will be just applying it, and I hope you can tell. I'll be setting this as well, and I will just go over it like so, just tiny bits, tiny pieces. But what I'm going to be using next is the Cosmetics Moonbeam Highlighter. Highlight is something that I think looks best when it's really radiant and creamy. The last thing I'm going to do actually is I will be taking, yeah, there it is, my setting spray again, spraying my face, and then I will be taking again my hydrating powder, my hydrating setting powder, really tapping it off and applying it to my nose, for example, and then my forehead and between my eyebrows and all the areas right here. For example, my skin kind of gets oily around here, and again I have some skin texture here, and that's normal, and we really need to like normalize the fact that people have pores and that pores exist and we cannot get rid of them. We can clean them, yes, and we can make them look much cleaner, but we cannot like make them disappear. That's fine, because your skin needs to breathe through something, right? So I think I even forgot to put highlighter on my nose. So I'm just be taking this little puff that I used before, like that. And yeah, I'm done. I think I'm done. That is it. So if you guys have any question, just let me know. I wish you a good day or a good night. But yeah, bye guys.